What's up, DG Army? Welcome back to another strategy series with nethervoid, also known as John. Anyway, this week I'm doing the KV-3. It's a tier 7 now, heavy tank for Russians on this new Russian, where is it? Heavy line here, the KV line. They split the IS and KV line, so now the KV-3 is a tier 7 instead of a tier 6. But it's still just as awesome as it ever was. It is a tier 7 now, and that hurt it a little bit because it does have a lot of the same stats. It's got more hit points and stuff, but most of the rest of the tank is the same. One nice thing, though, is now that 7.4 is out, it doesn't get in any battles with tier 10s. It's just tier 7, you'll just get a game like 7 through 9, 6 through 8, or 5 through 7. So that's pretty awesome for this tank. It's also quite a bit faster than it was as a tier 6, and that's helped it out a lot too. And I think that's a new viewport right there. I don't remember seeing that before. Anyway, so this tank is actually, I kind of like it a little better than I liked it before, and I think a lot of that's because of the matchmaker. This tank can fight tier 9s. It's a little tough when you fight them from the front, but they can fight them, and it's got a little bit of speed enough to flank them now. But when this thing's with tier 6 and really sluggish, going up against tier 10s in the front was not very fun at all. But now this tank has the mobility to deal with tier 9s. So the way you play this tank is it's very brutish. It's got a lot of great armor in the front. Turret is very well armored. The front area is very well armored. It's got the normal weak points everything does, like a machine gun turret and stuff. But other than that, it's very armored. So you can really be a bully with this tank. And it's also got some speed, so you can get around people and shoot them in the side. You can be kind of a fast bully. It's not a fast tank, but if you drove it as a tier 6, you'll think, wow, this thing is so fast. So that's kind of how I play it. I kind of, I hide behind, I play pop-out game a lot with it, and then I drive around people. I try to flank tier 9s. I use my mobility. I can use my mobility to get to other parts of the map and stuff, and help out my team if they're getting jacked up on one side. I can RTB in this tank. Before, there was no way you could, really. But I can RTB now in this tank, return to base, so that's kind of nice. So that's kind of how you play this tank. You just be very aggressive with it. Your team is going to need you to be aggressive because there's mediums and lights that need to flank people, and it's really hard to do it when the heavy's not trying to take a lot of the punishment, which you can definitely do with this tank. It bounces shells all the time. The gun is also very good, so you'll be able to penetrate and damage people really well. It's got a nice, the only thing that's a little weird about it is the reload speed, but you'll get used to it if you play a lot of heavies, because all the top tier heavies have long reloads. So anyway, that's how you play this tank. Let's get into the stats. 1400 hit points, pretty good for a tier 7. I think only the Tiger has more. I think it has 1450. The other tier 7s I think have less. Regardless, it's about the middle of the pack. Most of the tanks are about the middle. You'll know when it's when it's lighter, like the, well, it's a light tank, but the 1390, which is a tier 8 now, has 1100 hit points. So this thing has more than a tier 8. 750 engine, horsepower engine pushing 68 tons, and that's why it's a little more speedy now. I don't think it had this engine before. It probably had the 600 engine, and that is what made it sluggish, and now it's got this nicer, faster engine. So pretty nice power to weight ratio right there. Speed limit 32. I get up to this speed limit. High 20s, low 30s, no problems. 18 traverse, not that great. The track traverse is pretty bad. The turret traverse is also bad, giving you only 40 degrees per second. You have to be careful about being circled, and you'll see in one of the games that I'm going to show you, I get circled a little bit, and there's almost nothing I can do about it. But remember, when you're getting circled, to back up into a building or a dead tank, or back up to try to cut off the person's circling path. And you're definitely going to have to remember that with only 40 degrees turn speed here. 120 hull armor with 90 and 80 on sides. Really nice hull armor, even from the side. It's pretty nice. Turret, 130, 115, 115. This thing has some armor, guys. You're going to be able to bounce a lot of shots. It's pretty good armor. Doesn't really matter. 340 view range is pretty good. It's not the greatest, but it's really not that bad. 320 and greater is okay for heavy, because you need to be in people's face. You don't need to be trying to snipe. Well, with most heavies. Some heavies like the Tiger, you might want a little more view range because you're trying to snipe. 730 signal radio signal range is pretty awesome. It's all you're going to ever need. Anything really over 500, I think, is kind of all you'll ever need. 500 might be at the barely the edge of that. Let's look at some modules real quick. Actually, I usually do weak points right now. So the weak points are pretty much like any other tank. The machine gun turret here, the driver viewport, the lower plate, and a cupola, and that's pretty much places you shoot this tank. I'm not sure if this viewport is also a weak point. I would imagine it is. Usually when they have viewports like that, they do put in the armor correctly here with like a hole right there in the armor. So you can try that too. If you're a little lower tier, you can shoot it right there and see if you get a pen. That's pretty much it. And now let's do some modules. So you can see the tier 10 radio is available at 730 meters. It's awesome. You should already have it, I think. Nope. This will be something new, and we'll talk about that on the tech tree anyway. So, like I said, 730 meter radio, pretty awesome. It's all you're ever going to need. Track upgrade here is not needed like a lot of Russian tanks. You don't need the tracks to put anything else on. They just give you a slight turn speed upgrade, and that's pretty much it, and a tonnage upgrade, but you don't need it. Now the engines starts out with, what will you start with? You should have had the KV-1 before this, and I don't see KV-1 on here. No, you're not going to have any of these engines. That is going to be a pain. See, I didn't have to do all this because I already had all this stuff unlocked when they moved it over to the new line. Yeah, you probably won't. And again, we're going to talk about that in research, but you'll probably start with this 560 horsepower engine, and the tank will feel very sluggish with that kind of horsepower. You're going to definitely, when you bump up to 600, it's still going to feel very sluggish, but it'll be a little bit nicer. And when you hit 750, the tank actually kind of picks up speed. When I got it, I don't think I had the engine unlocked, so I had to unlock that. I'm not positive about that, but it's a very good engine. I probably did. I'm not sure what they gave me. I can't remember. But you'll notice a big increase when you get that 750. It's pretty awesome at that point. It's still good with the 600. I mean, it's got armor and a gun, so it's not like you're gonna get jacked up. But having a 750 horsepower makes you much more mobile. Turret. You're gonna start out with this smaller turret with 100 millimeter armor all the way around. It's still a decent turret. It's just you can't put the bigger guns on it. I wonder which guns you can put on it. Let's see. Let's just purchase. Fine, whatever. Okay, so I got the smaller turret on it. Yeah, you got the 107. That's still a good gun. 167 pin, 300 damage. Nice reload speed. That's a very good gun for this lower turret. So while you're grinding up the big gun, I'm not sure if you're gonna have to get the turret first anyway, but you're gonna have the ZIS 107 on there, so that's a great gun. This is a pretty nice tank, even coming up from stock. So again, you're gonna get a big bump up in armor though from that upgraded turret, and a slight decrease to turning speed, so that's a little bit of a problem. And view range, a little bit of bump, not that big a deal. The biggest thing here is the armor and being able to load the biggest gun. Now for guns, you won't have the 107, that's right, because the KV-1 doesn't have it anymore. So you're going to have this gun. Nope. Just this gun? Wow, 85 F30? You got to have something bigger. Wow, if you don't have anything bigger, that's going to be a really big pain in the butt. Oh man, you won't. Okay, so if you did the KV-1, you're gonna start out with a 119 pin, 160 damage gun. This is going to be very hard to play with at first. It does still have okay penetration, but it's really not that great. It does have some of the similar well, that's tier 6 penetration. This is the tier 7. So yeah, this is going to be really hard to play with for a while. You're definitely going to want to grind up your guns very quickly. Probably unlock the 107 if you haven't already. That should get you everything you'll need. Although the idiot gun's pretty nice with the little bit more pen, little less damage, but I guess it's not that much faster. I thought it'd be a lot faster than that. I'd probably stick with the ZIS. Let's look at the tech tree here, and we'll be doing this in a minute. I didn't know which way it went here. Okay, so yeah, you'll unlock the 107 right here. You won't go for that 85 because it's not on the tree. So 107 upgraded turret, and then you're going to be going for the 122s. So you won't even have time to get the idiot until the very end probably. So anyway, that's not too bad. You're going to start out with the F30 here, or I'm sorry. No, it is the F30. I was wrong. So you're going to start out with a 120 pen gun, 160 damage. It's relatively the same. It's going to be a little bit of grinding your teeth, but then you'll get this 107 and 167 pen, 300 damage is really nice. It's still going to rock because it's not a lot different than the gun I use, which is this tier 8 D25T, D-25T here, 175 pen, 390 damage. The pen is a little low, but if you pick out weak points, it's fine. 390 damage is pretty awesome. I routinely get over 400 with this thing. You'll see in the videos. The reload is a little slow, but it's still awesome, and I would probably use this. Although some people might want to just stick with the Zis 107 here because it does have cheaper rounds and it fires a little bit faster, probably more DPS with it. But again, it's a slight reduction in penetration. It's arguable which of these guns you should use. I could easily see you having good games with this 107. It's really awesome, pretty awesome gun. But also the 122 is a great gun. It has nice alpha for pop-out game. I generally prefer alpha, so I go with this gun. But if you like to drive in people's face and not even worry about cover, maybe this is better for you. So that's modules. Let's get into the KV-3 tech tree, and it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of stuff to know about this thing, so you're definitely going to want to listen to this. Now, sorry I did say that you wouldn't have the 107 when I was talking about equipment, or I mean modules earlier, because I thought you came right off the KV-1. But that's the old way to come off the tank tree. You will have the T150 in between the KV-1 and the KV-3, so you should have the 107. You should also have this 85. Now, you will also have this engine from, oh, I thought you did. I thought you had that. I guess you don't. You're not going to have either of these engines. That really stinks. Let's see, we have this radio? I thought you would have this radio. Yep, you will from the T150. Okay, so it's the radio you'll have. You're not going to have either of these engines, and that's going to make it a lot harder to start out. You also obviously won't have these two radios or any of these guns or the turret. So right when you get this tank, you can throw the 107 on. That's awesome. You can also throw this first radio on, and then you've got a big grind ahead of you. You don't need the tracks to get the turret or anything else, and you don't need the engines, really. So probably what I'd do is I'd play pop-out game really heavily when you first get this tank with this 107. I'd ground out the turret and go straight up to 122 and get the big 122 because I like alpha damage. Now, or there's another way to do this one. So there's kind of two ways to do this tech tree. With the 107, if you like that gun, you can go straight for the engines and get that mobility up. And then after the engines, go up for the 122 and get that nice big damage. You can also unlock one more of these radios and get a little bit more signal range that should help you with XP and credits, because 440 is actually not that good. This is, like I said, it's a really weird tech tree. The way I did it is, well, if I had to do it all over again, was I would go straight for this turret and straight up the 122 line. Then I would probably get the engines. After that, I'd get at least the first radio. Then I'd go for tracks. Then I get the second radio, everything else, which would be these two, well, just this gun right here, and then I get the KV-4, and that would be it. And that's how you do the tech tree, and those two different paths will be right off on the side. You just have to pick one, and let's get back to my garage. So that's the tech tree. Now let's look at some equipment, which I don't have on here, and I need to buy some when it's split, because I sent this equipment to my IS, so I need to buy some more equipment for this line. But if I did have equipment, it's going to be pretty easy. Vent, rammer, and I would save for the vert stat. Well, IS-4, I'd probably still put the vert stab on it. I might have a spall liner on my IS-4 because it was so slow before. But I would probably put a vert stab on it. So until you get the vert stab, I would probably put... Man, none of these are really going to help you. Maybe the toolbox on there. Although I don't think that's really going to help either. Basically something you can take off and not use gold on. Binocs might be a good idea since you're going to be sitting and doing a little bit of pop-out game. You could also put the toolbox on there to help you repair a little bit, although you should have your crew up to 100%, and this crew's not, just because I didn't play this tank that many times after it re-released, and I didn't have a 100% crew when it was on tier 6. This is actually a second crew that I picked up from something else and changed over to KV-3. So your crew should have some repair, so you probably won't need a toolbox, but it helps. Especially something you're going to want to take off later, because later on, I'm not sure if the KV-4 gets it or the ST-1, but you're definitely going to want that vert stab on this tank line when you move up a little bit. So consumables, full rack is obvious with tier 7 and above. Fire extinguisher, small repair kit, small heal kit. Ammo, I almost always now go with 4 HE because I never use them really, and the rest of it AP. I've been doing that in every tank. Crew is going to look a lot like this. They should be at 100% though, with like 75% repair or whatever your first skill is when you unlock the KV-4. They should be pretty high up, maybe 50%. They might not be that high. What I do with my tank crews now, almost in every tank, is go after mentor here with my commander, and then everybody else repair, because with this crew setup, I'm only losing 16% or 15% or so. No, maybe it's 18% of my overall repair speed with the repair skill, because it averages between all the crew. Also, this grants me 10% faster skill gain to all these 5 guys, so it's a great increase in having mentor. When this first skill set hits 100%, well, actually a little bit over 100%, I'll use credits to retrain my guys at 90%, put the first 100% in BIS, Brothers in Arms, BIA, and then I'll retrain them in Mentor and Repair again. And that's because Brothers in Arms adds 2.2% to all your crew skills across the whole board here, and I think it's a pretty good skill. I was looking at the other single, crew specific skills, and I just don't think it stacks up. If it does, it's even, and I'm just not going to worry about it. Once you have BIA and you get this to 100%, the next thing I would go with is Recon right here for view range. Gunner, I would get Snapshot. That is like a mini vert stab, negative 7. Oh God, I can't even talk. Negative 7.5 gun dispersion due to turret rotation. For driver, I get clutch braking, which is plus 5% to traverse speed and vehicle rotation. And since it's so low, it's not going to give you a lot of gain, but any little bit helps. Radio operator, situational awareness, which is again plus 3% to view range. Get that view range as high as you can. And then the 2 loaders, they don't have any skills that are active before 100%, so I just go with usually the first guy. I get safe stowage for the first guy, usually if there's only one, and then adrenaline rush for if there's 2 guys. Again, those won't be active till you hit 100% with the 3rd crew skill, which probably won't happen until you've been driving your IS-4 and Clan Wars for a while. You'll get the 3rd skill. So anyway, that's pretty much your crew, and I've told you all about this tank. Let's get into some games, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are on Airfield, and this is a pretty fun map, and it's been pretty hard to actually figure out the different ways to go on this map that I like. And I've talked to some of the new DG Army members for the DG Army clan. They say the same thing, that this map is a little bit confusing at first because there's so many different paths to take. There really aren't any lanes on this map. It's kind of wide open with some places to hide and different plateaus and stuff. Again, let's just put in a plug for the new DG Army clan. That's Dungeon Guru Army. That's for all the fans and stuff. We're up to like 70 members. And so I've kind of slowed it down a little bit because I think we're going to implement a little bit of a change where members need to be on TS as much as possible so we can be platooning and stuff. Because we're having like 15 or 20 people in the clan that are online and like 5 or 6 people in TeamSpeak. And that makes it really hard to platoon and really hard to hang out together when you can't chat with people and stuff. Voice chat anyway. So what I did right here is go to the south. This is a great place for heavies, that J line right there. But it was pretty stacked, and so I decided to go north because our team already had most of its tanks in the bottom there, which is a really bad idea. So this is already not turning out well. 3601H creeping up. I don't think he sees me. He definitely does not see me. Bam! 366 damage out of that. Now this is where the ZIS would have been better. The reload speed on this gun is probably about 13 seconds, I want to say. That's a little less than 5 rounds per minute. So it's pretty slow, but again, climbing this tank is pretty slow anyway. And if they're going to bunch up down there on the J line, they should really push heavily because they really need to press that advantage. If they're going to take up that much, if they're going to use that many of our tanks, they need to push the advantage. So ELC gets by. I'm not even going to try to chase him in this gun. This tank's a little too slow. There's another bounce for me off that 36. Pretty awesome. This tank has... See how I'm angling it too? That helps with the armor. He's actually shooting at an angled armor, even further angled than it already is. So I should have really aimed in right there. I just kind of figured my 175 pen would get through anything he had, but I shot right at the mantler like a noob. And you'll see why doing that probably could have maybe lost us this game. So I take him out right there, but I really should have zoomed in and not been so lazy right there. Because that saved me 13 seconds, and you'll see why that's a big deal later. So now I'm rounding up the front. We got that side handled, obviously. I need to come up here and stop this push they're doing up here with like 9 billion tanks. So anyway, yeah, DGNet, DG Army clan. It's all casual right now. No real tank requirements or anything. Probably once we get filled up and officers set up and stuff, and we're actually doing officer apps right now, then we'll be probably starting up a Clan Wars clan for those who want to really push it heavy. I want to try to be in that clan, but I'm not sure I'll be able to be in it because my time requirements and stuff. Again, another cool airplane. I love this map. But it's definitely going to happen, though, that we're going to be in Clan Wars. I don't know how successful it will be. Just depends on how much time and stuff people want to put into it. Getting shot from the back. Again, not really taking much damage, so I must be getting... it must be HE or something. So this guy's fairly weakened. And I know I can go through the M4's armor. Bam, 400 damage. And he's probably going to have a hard time getting through mine. They do have a 212 pen gun, though. Let's see what he's got. He's got... Well, now he's totally turned around. Boom, you're dead. Now I'm behind their little push. But I think there's some guys behind me. I just don't see them. He's gone. Taking out this push. Maybe that'll help us win here. Tie game. Ooh, okay. I got a heavy coming up on me. An IS. Now, I probably should have focused this guy, but this guy's trying to take our Artie out. Boom, you're dead. Artie's still in the game. This guy looks to be AFK. I probably should have paid attention to my rear. But I'm just trying to get rid of tanks right now. Boom. Because I'm trying to help our team out. We're actually up 2 right now. And I've got 4 kills. But I really should have been focusing down this IS. The PZ-34 is not that big of a deal. I would turn around and put my armor toward him, except I got the IS shooting me in the back, and I'm trying to get bounces here. 37 hit points. Am I going to get a bounce? No, he waits long enough to zoom in on me. So it's still an awesome game. I got a lot of good kills there, and 4 kills. We actually did win this game. I think it was because I came and took out the majority of that push. I killed. Saved our Artie, even though I think he died after that. Awesome game. This is a 1,550 point game, and nice credits and stuff. I can't show you the details because I got out of this game to get another one. So let's get another game. Here's an awesome game I had again on one of the newer maps. This one's on Highway. This just came out in 7.4. Platooned up here with Rummy and Joepod 389 from DG Army. We're all from DG Army, obviously. And I'm doing a lot more platooning now that we have DG Army going and everybody's on Vent, or I mean TS, TeamSpeak. And that's just because it's more convenient, and I don't like platooning as much when I can't talk to people. You can use the in-game voice, but it's just not the same. And now, especially now that everybody's in the clan and stuff, we all know each other. We all can see when each other are online, and they're already platooned up with other people. I can just hop in and grab a platoon and stuff. So we kind of waited to see what people were going to do, because on these newer maps, people kind of don't know what to do yet. So we wanted to go in the direction that people were not going to help it even out the team. So, and this is generally the way heavies would go anyway. This is the direction they'd go into town over there to get some cover from Artie and just to basically do pop-out game. If you were a medium, I would go north. We did that when we were on... Joe and I had T-44s, and Rummy had a Type 59 on another game we played earlier on this map. And we were spawned in the north and went all around, went directly west and down. Had no resistance, no enemies went that direction. We circled right around, killed the Artie, and just routed them from behind. Basically came up on the heavies from this direction and came up right into the city and started jacking them up. So you definitely need to split your team up on this map. At least a couple of guys, 3 or 4 guys, need to go north. And at least 3 or 4 heavies need to go into the city. So as you can see, not meeting any resistance yet. Tank's getting up to, what is this? It's a little bit jumpy. Let's, 15? That's not that great. Of course I am climbing a hill. Flank the north. Yeah, I'm saying, guys, go up a little bit. I think they're hiding behind some cover. And those guys are down on the river, so that could be why they're not doing anything. We're all in Tier 9s here, and you can see kind of the different Tier 9s. Joe in the T-29, which is a really awesome Tier 7 tank, heavy tank, American. I'll just put a link to that up right here to the strategy I have on that tank. Rummy is in the IS, which is a little bit faster than the KV-3. It's from the faster line of Russian tanks, a little bit lighter on the armor. The guns are pretty much the same though, and actually the IS-7 has a bigger gun than the IS-4. So I'll put the strategy up for that tank as well right now. So T-3485, I heard it got a nerf and it doesn't get as good of a gun anymore. Maybe that's the T-43. Boom! It's got pretty soft armor, not a lot of hit points. Now he's trying to hide behind a building, and this is what I'm saying with just beast through him, okay? I'm waiting for my reload. I'm gonna reload. I'm just gonna drive right through the building. Boom! You're dead. That's kind of the way you do it. You get pretty aggressive with this tank. Use the bounce ability, get in people's face. Force them into positions where you can shoot at them, like right here. Bam! Too bad I didn't get a little more damage and kill that guy. Now, T-25 is trying to get a flank on me. He realizes it's not going to happen, and I saw him. Again, I drive right through this school. I'm assuming it's a school anyway. Boom! So, I have not had to try... Oh, there we go. Our team takes him out. Joe just took that guy out. Joe also took out the T-29. Another T-29 here. Now, see, I'm using this tank as cover, so he can't get hit in the weak points. And I'm basically going to try to snipe... Well, snipe for this tank anyway. Snipe this guy. He's what, about... It's about 200 meters away, I'd say. Nice hit right there on the lower plate. He's trying to do hold down, but he's too far over the hill and he's not getting a hold down position. So he's pretty much dead. His whole lower plate's showing. So he's only got 42 hit points. Let's try to take him out. I missed. Didn't wait long enough to zoom in. He's dead. Joe took him out. So you can see we're all working as a team. We don't all have to face hug each other or butt buddy each other up. We're just kind of near each other. And we were trying to call out targets. Like I'd say, hey, T-29's up there, I just nailed him. Joe would turn his turret over, we'd focus him down real quick. Or Joe might say, hey, I'm getting boxed in over here, come help. We'd all run over there and help. Or Rummy call out for help, you know, hey, I'm getting jacked up over here. We'd say, whatever, noob, and he would die. Pretty much, that's how it goes. I'm just kidding, Rummy. Anyway, I'm really proud of the DG Army. Got lots of skill. The first 5 or 6 games that we played together as Platoon, we just tore the enemy apart, as you can see here. We've already got 7 out of the 15 kills, which I think is pretty good. So 1100 point game, pretty awesome game. 36,000 credits. Killed 2 guys, damaged 3 guys, 7 for 7 on shots. Pretty good for this tank. It's not all that accurate, but it is an awesome tank. But since you're getting in people's faces, it doesn't need to have a very accurate gun. So received 3 hits and really didn't take any damage. It's an awesome tank. Tell me what you think about this tank. Let me know what you think. Later, guys.